Happy 4th of July, everyone. Let's take a little bit of a step back from typical Dungeon Quest content and think about what's in this game. Well, there's dungeons, a lot of them. And what's in those dungeons? Mobs, bosses, final bosses, the last boss that you encounter in the dungeon to get your rewards. Have you ever thought about which of the bosses is actually the strongest out of all of them? Yes, I want to pit all the bosses together against each other. And I've kind of come up with a little makeshift thing here. Now, if you don't know, these are less than and greater than symbols. So, less than. This is less than, greater than. This is less than, greater than. Pretty basic stuff. Now, I have all the bosses here in Dungeon Quest ranging from Desert Temple to all the way to Yokai Peak, wherever that beautiful dude is. Here he is. And I want to pit them against each other. So let's start with what boss would actually probably be the weakest. And if we take a look here, it is probably going to be either the Winter Outpost one or the Desert Temple one. Because bosses, like, we're not going to be looking at what the bosses can do ability wise. Because if you think about it, they're not going to be, like, set to only their 3 attack moves if they were fighting in an actual universe. That's just for the game. So it's hard to tell how strong a boss would be when Vitalis could, like, create a constant wall of magma that could obliterate anything, but he wouldn't actually do that in the game. So all these hypothetical scenarios, we're going to skip that and just look at the boss for what they have and what they are. So any boss with a weapon is immediately going to be at a huge advantage over any boss that doesn't have a weapon. So let's look at the Winter Outpost into the temple. Which of these bosses do you think would win against each other? Well, I think that the Ice Elemental would win over the Sand Golem because he's floating and he just looks spikier and more menacing, and I feel like the Sand Golem have had a harder time dealing with that. So that would put the Sand Golem all the way at the bottom automatically. So let's go and grab him and just shook him there. Boom. Right there. Try to shrink him a little bit. Boom. Sand Golem gets put right there. That's where the Sand Golem goes. And I think that the next spot rightfully will probably go to the Ice Elemental. I mean, if you think about size-wise, it's just not big enough. They're just regular fists. Like, anything with a weapon, even the Demonic Pirate Captain would be able to beat them out easily. So I feel like it's pretty fair to place these two in the thing. So, like I said with the greater than and less than signs, the Sand Giant will be less than the Ice Elemental. Now, which boss would be next on the tier list here? It's hard to say. Obviously, the Underworld boss has massive size and hands and teeth, so I think he would be above the Serpent or the Captain. Right? I think it'll probably be the Sea Serpent that would be next. I mean, the Serpent can breathe fire. I think that's just like a part of his, I believe. So maybe that would actually just put the Demonic Pirate Captain next because he's smaller and he just has like a spear. So I feel like it is fair to put him there. I feel like he wouldn't be able to beat out much of the later bosses. Now, for the next one, I just think that the Sea Serpent would probably fall to most of these dudes here. I mean, they have weapons, they're huge, he can grab swords. I think it's only fair. Even the Cannon Blaster, I mean, he literally has cannons, he's guns, right? So I think the Serpent should go in the next slot here. I think that's pretty fair. Put them there. Boom. Now, who is just stronger than the Serpent? In my opinion, I'm thinking it's going to be one of these bottom bosses here. The Cannon Blaster, the Overlord, you got Canals, Samurai Palace, Underworld, or Steampunk Sewers. Now, Cannon Blaster has guns. Big guns. 3 cannons, literally. And I think that beats out these unarmored soldiers of swords. Now, would it beat the literal demon, like a hell boss, Underworld, like Satan himself almost? I'm not sure. I think we just have to look at who is stronger than. So I feel like Cannon Blast would probably be one of the strongest of this group. I don't think Sonata Yukimura would beat the Underworld boss. I think his swords are just a bit too small. I think the boss would be able to beat him out. So I think it's fair to put Sonata Yukimura, Samurai Palace boss, at the next slot here. I feel like he'd be able to beat the Sea Serpent, but I don't think he could beat the next one. Now, I feel like the Warrior Overlord would be able to beat the Underworld boss, just because of the fact that he has some very powerful swords here. Fire and ice, and I feel like he'd be able to slice through this boss, the Underworld boss, a lot easier than Sanada Yukimura, which would put him in the next slot here. Here. Don't want to make him too small. So let's look at the rating so far. We got the Sand Giant being the weakest, then the Ice Elemental, then the Pirate Captain, then the Sea Serpent, then Sanada Yukimura, and then Warrior Overlord. And I think that's a very fair assessment. If you have any opinions, feel free to share them down below. This is just all for good fun here. Now, I think all these other bosses they're pretty big. They have swords or weapons, besides Sarigami, but we'll get to that when we get there. So I feel like this bottom line here needs to be addressed, rightfully so. So can the Underworld boss beat the Cannon Blaster? And I feel like he can, just from the fact that the Cannon Blaster is big. He's mechanical, so he's robotic, so he doesn't feel pain. And, well, the Underworld boss doesn't really have any weapons besides its teeth and his huge size, which I feel like a cannon would just put a hole right through him. So let's put this here. This is all on the fly, by the way. There's no script for this. I'm just thinking here. So bam, put that in there. Now, I think... Actually, maybe the Enchanted Forest Dragon would be weaker than the Cannon Blaster. I mean, he's just a dragon. I mean, he can fly, right? Can he fly with those wings? They're not like actual wings. They kind of look like bones. I mean, Lord Varrosh is an alien. He has alien armor. That would protect him, and he's a huge sword. I feel like he'd be able to dismantle. Same with the Lava King, kind of. I don't feel like any of these other bosses would really lose to the Cannon Blaster, except for maybe the Forest Dragon. Or maybe even Vitalus, right? He just has a staff. And like I said, we're only looking at abilities, so he's just kind of a staff dragon dude. And that's actually a really good point here. Maybe Vitalus actually should be below the Demon Underworld's boss. Right? Surely. I mean, Vitalus is not that strong. Is the Warrior Overlord stronger than Vitalus? Vitalus? I keep on saying Vitalus. But is it Vitalus? I'm just going to say Vitalus. Now, no, I mean, he has wings. He can fly. I feel like the Warrior Overlord would get outclassed. But I feel like maybe the Underworld boss would be able to destroy him. Wait, I'm doing this wrong, ain't I? Okay, I did put these in the wrong order. I just had to look at it for a second. So I think Underworld boss would go here, but if Vitalus is stronger or weaker than the Underworld boss, wouldn't that mean that... Okay, so maybe Vitalus goes here, right? I feel like, can he be stronger than it though? Is that a fact? This is hard. I mean, you could maybe, okay, I think the Warrior Overlord is stronger, right? He has to be. So I think maybe the Warrior Overlord goes there. And I mean, he's beefy and he has like these massive swords, and Vitalus just has a staff. So yeah, I think the Underworld boss would beat Vitalus, and then the Warrior Overlord would beat the Underworld boss, and then, you know, the chain has to go. Sorry for that little mistake. My brain's like melting. So as for the next boss, I think maybe the Enchanted Forest Dragon. No, but can the Enchanted Forest Dragon... Yeah, no, maybe I'm gonna give the Enchanted Forest Dragon the benefit of doubt and say that it would be able to beat the Warrior Overlord here. I mean, it is a dragon. I think it does have fire-breathing abilities, probably. I mean, it has wings. It's pretty big, so I feel like maybe it'd be able to win out against the swords in a fight. That being said, I think it's fair to put the Cannon Blaster in the next spot. I mean, he wasn't going to go very far to begin with. So, yeah. Throw him there, I guess. Shrink him a little bit. Boom. Okay. So, now next would be... Oh, man. It's getting tough now. I mean, these are the big boys. I think we can safely exclude Odin and his reincarnation and the Sea King. I mean, they're massive. They have massive weapons. Like, no doubt in my mind, probably. So it'll be Lord Varrosh and the Lava King. Now, is the Lava King stronger than Lord Varrosh or vice versa here? The Lava King is a lot bigger than Lord Varash. He does have two weapons, and he's kind of like an elemental floating type, but not like a straight physical being like Lord Varash, who's just like wearing armor. So I feel like the Lava King would be able to beat Lord Varash here in a fair fight. I'm gonna throw him there. Now the Lava King will go next. Yeah, I think Lava King. Sorry, I had to pause for a second. 4th of July after all fireworks. Now Lord Varash, Lava King. That's fair. Now can the Odin and Sea King? Is Odin the strongest boss? Is that where this is gonna end up? Is Odin the strongest boss here? I mean, Saragami is massive, but he's just rock, right? You could pierce him. He's just a fire rock. And I feel like Odin's like a literal god, a Norse god, I think. And he has a massive spear. I think Saragami might be next. I'm pretty sure Saragami would easily be able to beat the Lava King. I mean, come on. But yeah. No, I think Saragami's next. Fair. I think that's fair. Fair assessment here. Put Saragami there. Boom. Now, Sea King, he's big, but I don't think he's as big as Odin. Or is he? I mean, he does have a spear. A giant spear. This is really hard. Pitting these bosses against each other here. So, I'm trying to think about if they, like, fought. I mean, Odin has, like, countless battle experience. Are we counting battle experience? I mean, come on. Sea King. Let me think for a moment. Okay, I think the Sea King would be weaker than Odin. I mean, okay, Odin is fully armored up, right? And the Sea King is just, it's skinnier. Like, no, wait, wouldn't that give him, like, movement? Maybe the Sea King would win. I mean, he's nimble, right? He's big. He's not, like, as chunky as a target. Yeah. I'm thinking that the Sea King would beat Odin here. I'm thinking so. Let me know. Please let me know in the comments if you're thinking differently. I would be very curious. Now, Odin's reincarnation is supposed to be like 7 or so times stronger than regular Odin. And isn't he just like a ghost? I mean, once you kill Odin, he comes back. So maybe that puts Odin's reincarnation above the Sea King here. And no, I'm not looking at health, even though I'm like kind of like basing that. I'm not gonna be looking at that pure for fights. But this is not easy. I get the feeling that Odin reincarnation would destroy Sea King. I'm not gonna lie, and I feel like that's where I'm gonna have to put it here. Put the Sea King there, and then Odin reincarnation. But there is one boss that I did not mention that's in the game. Us. Literally us. Who can destroy every boss in the game. And I think that is the final boss here. I'll put him there. Ignore that black dot. I don't know how that's there. Boom. This is the list. Okay. The strongest boss in Dungeon Quest, not counting raids, screw raids, and not counting Greg. I mean, Greg, come on. Would be Odin's reincarnation. A bit lame, but okay. The Sand Giant is weaker. Okay, yeah. The Cyronox is stronger than the Sand Giant. Or Sand Golem, sorry, I'm still stuck in the old Desert Temple. The Serpent is stronger than the Pirate Captain. Vitalist is stronger than Sonata Yukimura. Warrior Overlord is stronger than the Underworld boss. I don't know his name. Enchanted Forest Dragon is stronger than the Warrior Overlord. The Cannon Blaster is stronger than the Enchanted Forest Dragon. Lord Varash would tear apart the Cannon Blaster. Lava King would destroy Lord Varash. Saragami would destroy the Lava King. Odin would destroy Saragami. Sea King would probably slay Odin in an epic battle. And I think Odin's reincarnation would kill the Sea King. And then, of course, we come on top. So that's the list. It was an interesting little video. I actually kind of have a lot of fun making this and determining which boss is strongest here. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, feel free to comment, like, subscribe, whatever you want. I'm very interested to hear your opinions if you have any. And have a good day and happy 4th of July. See ya.